Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today on the Real Estate Podcast. This is Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International. And today we are going to take a few minutes and we are going to talk about building your brand and the 5 things that every customer wants to hear from you. Now in marketing, you have 3 seconds to get your customers' attention. And in that 3 seconds, they really judge you. They determine whether they're going to work with you or not. And they determine whether they're going to engage with you or not. Imagine yourself driving down a road and you see a billboard. There's only a couple seconds for that to engage you or not. I also want you to think about first impressions that you've created in the past. Have you ever created a bad first impression? And when you did, how hard was it to change that impression once you created a bad first impression? In some cases, you can never change it. Once they have that impression of you in their mind, it's so difficult to change. And if you can change it, it takes an awful long time and a lot of investment on your part to change that perception. So that's why when I talk about building a brand for a real estate professional, it's so crucial for us to think about every little thing we do. How we dress, how we talk, what we say, what our marketing looks like, the paper stock that we print on. Is it flimsy, thin paper? Is it thick, professional paper? Because what happens in those 3 seconds, your customer judges you on the impression that you create. You create an impression and you communicate 3 things. You communicate your image, you communicate your credibility, and if you're successful at those first 2 things, then you can communicate the information that you want to convey. Now, this 3 seconds is becoming increasingly even more important because we have something in our world going on called information overload. We have so many messages and so many things flying at our customer every single day, and things that are competing for their time. Just think in your own world, how many websites, phone calls, apps, salespeople, emails, billboards, magazines, newspapers, Netflix, on demand, social media, radio, Pandora. There's so many things just flying at you that time is becoming so crucial and so important to you, and you are very cognizant of how you choose to invest your time, and your customer is doing the same thing. So that's why in marketing and real estate, we need every single marketing piece or point of contact to cut through the clutter in those 3 seconds, to cut through all that information overload. And we need it to quickly communicate the right image, the right credibility, and then communicate the information that we want to convey to our customers. Now, one of the things that I'll often do when I'm working with an agent on building their brand is I'll have them do an exercise, and this is what I would like you to do, is take some action and go conduct this exercise on your own. I want you to spread out all of your marketing from last year on a table in front of you and take a look at it. What is it that you see? So print out all your electronic marketing, some of your social media posts, print out your e-marketing that you do, postcards. Take a look at your business cards, your listing presentation, everything. Lay it all out on a table. What do you look like? I had an agent I did this exercise with recently that they said, I looked like 4 different people and I didn't understand that nothing was consistent and it just didn't look professional. And there's a science behind this building of a brand, and I call it the brand identity management process. And it's basically where you have a strategy that is built on data and information, and it basically tells you what you need to say and what you need to look like in order to engage your market. And that's called, basically verbally and visually how you look. So for example, if you say that you are professional verbally, do you look professional visually? If you aren't equal and congruent on both, you're out of whack and it doesn't resonate with your customer. So if you say you're professional, but you hand somebody a cartoonish business card on flimsy laser paper stock that doesn't feel professional, doesn't look professional, it doesn't say the right things, then it's incongruent and it doesn't resonate, it doesn't connect with your customer. So basically what you want to do is you want to know the right things that you need to say. You need to know the way that you need to present yourself to your customer, and then basically Convey that visually and verbally, and that's how you create a perception in the marketplace, which becomes your identity. Now, the team at HomeSmart has done this for all our HomeSmart agents by creating hundreds of templates that are all built on that strategy, that have the right visual and the verbal cue, all with the goal of elevating agents' brand and visual identity. But what I want to do is any agent can do this, and I want to share this with you about building your brand and about using it to generate your business. So I'm going to give you a couple key tactics that you can implement in your business. The first thing is to decide upon what is your why. Why should customers use you? What do you want to be known for? So an exercise that I'll do with agents is I'll ask them, what 4 or 5 keywords or traits or actions do you want customers to associate with you? Another way to put it is, what do you want them to think of when they think of you? So those 4 keywords then really become the cornerstones to your brand. So I also talked at the beginning of the podcast here that we were going to talk about the 5 things that every customer wants to hear. This is these are 5 great phrases upon which you could build a brand that kind of become the right cornerstones. So one of the first things that every customer wants to hear in real estate is that you'll make real estate easy for them. So right up here on the screen, right, I have an example of a phrase, I will make real estate easy for you. That's one of the first things your customer wants to hear. For most of our customers, buying or selling a home, it's the most expensive purchase they'll ever make. It's the most long-term purchase they'll ever make unless they own a business. And so basically, it's a big deal. And then on top of it, it's a very stressful process in many cases. We use a lot of acronyms, we use a lot of terms that they don't understand. There's a lot of processes that they have to follow in the buying process or in the selling process. And basically it's complex. And financial approval, and there's the whole financial component of it as well. So they want someone that is going to help make real estate easy for them. In addition, the next 4 things that they want to hear from a real estate professional is that they have experience, they have knowledge, they have service, and they have professionalism. So one of the things that we've done at HomeSmart is we have these phrases put together in key graphics that you can use, that you can download from the Real Smart Agent panel and put this on all of your marketing to build your brand. So one of the things that all of you need to do is you can choose to use these graphics that are already created, or choose the 4 or 5 pillars and keywords that you want to be known for in your brand and start to put that everywhere in your branding. And that becomes the cornerstone, the foundation of building your brand. So right here, put my experience, knowledge, service, and professionalism to work for you. You need to say that to your customer. You need to put it on all of your marketing, and then your customer will begin to know you as being an experienced agent, a knowledgeable agent, service-oriented agent, and professional. And that then, when they begin to describe you, they'll describe you in those terms. I'll build more upon that in a minute. Once you have that squared away and you have that foundation in place, then you need to be consistent. And you need to put this phrase everywhere, these keywords everywhere. Consistency is so key to building a brand. That's why the exercise of laying everything out on a table and taking a look at it is so key, because when you do that, sometimes you'll find out I'm not being consistent and I look like 4 different people or 4 different brands. That's why I'm not building a strong brand. When you're consistent and you put the phrases everywhere, you put it on all of your marketing, you say it when you're speaking to the customer, you put it on your online presence and your profiles, that becomes your brand and what they know you to be. And so one of the other things that I do when I work with agents is to put this phrase on the back of their business cards. And then in those first 3 seconds when you meet someone, what happens if you give your business card out backwards? And so then what they're seeing is instantly they see your branding right there. I'll put my experience, my knowledge, my service, and my professionalism to work for you. And in 3 seconds, what image, what perception are you creating? You're creating the perception instantly of being a professional real estate agent with knowledge, a service-oriented mindset, and tremendous experience. And that's why if you put these phrases on everything, on your postcards, on your e-marketing, on your social media graphics, on your listing presentations, you put it everywhere, even on your email signature. So how many emails are you sending a day right now that you don't have any branding for you on those emails? If you download this graphic right here, you put this on your email signature, all the emails, 200, 300, 500 emails a day that you're sending out, now all become marketing and brand building assets for you that really strengthen and grow your business. On your listing presentation, when you meet with a customer or a buyer presentation and you sit down, the first thing that they should see is this phrase right here, or your branding, put my experience, knowledge, service, and professionalism to work for you. And what we've learned is that if you put this everywhere on your marketing pieces and really use it on the back of your business card, in all of your marketing, your customer begins to describe you that way when talking about you to someone else. So again, put this on last year, spread out all your marketing last year, put it all on a table and ask yourself, what do you see? And hopefully a year from now, what you would see is a consistent, solid brand communicating the same messages over and over again. Now, this is how strong your brand should be. Once you do that, you should be able to cover up your logo, cover up your photo, cover up your name, and still know on that marketing piece or on that communication piece that it's coming from you. Because if you've done that, that's when you have that strong enough brand. And again, I've done, like I told you, I've worked with agents to implement this in every single aspect of their business. So every touch point, everything they do, everything they say, all follows those consistent phrases and that consistent branding. And then when we ask customers later to write a testimonial for them, all of a sudden they start using those keywords again that talk about experienced. Oh, they're so experienced, they're so knowledgeable, they're service oriented, they're professional. Those terms begin to come out in their testimonials. So just put this everywhere and really use it to build your brand. One other thing that you can do to elevate your brand is elevate the photography and the graphics that you use. You should use upscale, beautiful, good photography in all of your listings, in all of your marketing, and upscale graphics, and that really sets that level of professionalism that your brand then becomes known for. The last thing I'm going to share with you here today is what I call practicing your elevator statement. Now, recently we did a podcast with Wendy Forsyth, the COO here at HomeSmart, and she talked about practicing and your micro pitches. And in a sense, that was the same thing. Go check out that podcast because she digs in depth into the elevator statement and all of the micro pitches that we do all day long. The reason why I call it an elevator statement is I imagine getting in an elevator on the first floor and there's someone in that elevator who's being transferred in from out of town who wants to buy $1 million home. And between the first floor and the 7th floor, what can I say to them that would make them want to sit and have coffee with me and choose me to be the real estate professional to help them buy that home? And if you hone that in, sometimes I'll put agents on the spot and I'll say, so real quick, pretend that we just met. What is it that you want me to know in the first 3 to 15 seconds about you? And agents will struggle. They won't know what to say because they haven't taken the time to write it out and to practice it ahead of time. I know many agents, they hone in on the 5 things I just told you that agents want to hear or that customers want to hear. So just as an example, potentially, hi, the customer gets in the elevator, they say that they're being transferred from out of town, they notice you have a name badge, a realtor name badge on your lapel pin, and they're saying, oh, hi, my wife and I, we just got transferred in town, we need to buy a home in the area. What makes you different than every other realtor here in the area? And you could say, well, I'll tell you what makes me different. I'm going to make real estate easy for you. I'm going to put my experience, my knowledge, my service, my professionalism to work for you. I have a 6-step process about buying a home. If we sit down and have a cup of coffee, I'd be happy to explain that 6-step process to you. But I am here to serve you and to make real estate easy. And I'm going to give you such impeccable service that I'm going to want you to give me a 5-star review online when we're done working together, because I'm going to help you meet your real estate goals. Now, every time I say that elevator statement, sometimes it comes out shorter, sometimes it comes out longer. You need to, it just comes out different every time. And so you need to figure out what you want your elevator statement to be, and you need to practice it, and you need to hone it, and start to use it and make it work for you. Because if you do that, that's another way of creating that brand instantly in 3 to 15 seconds, that you create a brand and an impression with your customer. So I hope today that you've learned some powerful things about building your brand, and that you've also learned the 5 things that every customer wants to hear from you, and that you implement these things and put it to work for you in your business. Thank you for joining us today on the Real Estate Podcast. I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International, and I'll see you soon.